outside.
You're killing me, Mike. I give you the finger guns.
Sorry about that.
Pay attention.
I fell asleep at the wheel.
That's all right.
That's right. We'll edit everything. You could still bumper us in. I'm counting on you. I have faith.
Hey, you want me to bumper you in here?
Yeah. Just like last time.
Okay. Hey guys, this is Michael from Easy Roller Dice here. I'm on today with Legends of Tabletop. We're gonna talk all kinds of good stuff, including Kickstarter and whatever else they want to throw out here at me. So happy to be on here with you guys.
Hey, Michael. This is episode 89 of the Legends of Tabletop podcast. We have Michael with us tonight. We're happy to have him back on again, talk about their awesome Kickstarter for their rose gold dice. So what do you got going on, Michael? What cool things have been happening recently?
Well, aside from totally screwing up your intro there, which I knew I was going to do, just basically a lot of work, which is good. I love what I do, designing things and coming up with new products and ideas. So my life has been basically rotating around that and going to my son's basketball games, which, that's a blast. And basically, that's it, man. Not enough tabletop gaming, that's for sure, which is something I need to be doing.
Mm-hmm. We got to get you in on something, one of these one-shots or something that we're playing.
I know.
I think we talked about that last time.
Yeah, and I think it's pathetic, but I think I've only had like 7 or 8 campaigns since then. So it's been a rough year because I think it was almost a year ago since we talked last.
I think last June, maybe something like that. It came up when I was posting the new episode, and it was like "See related, Michael from Easy Roller Dice." I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't know the website did that."
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Before we go any further, in God's name, why is there not a banner for the Kickstarter on your website? I went to do my research yesterday, and I click in, and I'm like, there's no mention of the Kickstarter on here at all. What's happening?
Well, yeah, and I saw your tweet earlier, and I laughed because it was we actually debated that because last time we did the last 2 Kickstarters, we actually did the banner, and we actually found we get a better response by not having it on there. So
really,
so we actually took off the top nav and decided not to do it this time around. And then maybe we'll test it again next time around. So I typically test all the different things, but yeah, it didn't get as many click-throughs as we had hoped last time, and we got far more through email and through social media than on the website. So believe it or not.
Interesting. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I saw your tweet, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna answer that, and I'm like, nah, I'm like the best response because I figured you'd bring it up tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's coming up. So
that's all right. Interesting. Interesting little behind the scenes then. I just would have thought that, maybe someone coming in who's not conversant in things that you have going on, social media wise would just be on the site like, oh, I need dice, I'm going to try here. I'm like, oh shit, they have a Kickstarter.
Yeah, I found the last time we did it, we found it was kind of distracting. So, not to get into all the marketing junk, but I do a lot of testing and tweaking and analyzing like all the data. And it just seemed it was confusing people. Like, hey, do you want to come buy dice or do you want to go get into a Kickstarter? So, we figured if they're getting in the email, they're on social media, we're getting to them that way. They can at least see it and have an opportunity to back it. And, we probably do miss out on some, but I think as a whole, it keeps people less distracted. And it's, sure. It's just, especially on like mobile phones, it gets really hard because a lot of our business is through the phone, actually. So
interesting.
Which I mean, probably isn't surprising for this, for our audience, but yeah, that's what we found.
Cool. All right. Are you doing a whole social media blitz this time around again, or are you just kind of doing like social media like Twitter and things like that? Have you been doing a lot of other interviews?
No, not a whole lot of interviews on this. No, we've had a few people do, send over like a message and say, hey, do you mind if I feature this? So, we've had like 7 or 8 features on different websites, and that's been kind of cool. But I haven't, since this was kind of a quick one, and we didn't really go out and reach out to thousands of different people trying to sell it up or anything like that. So this was more of kind of like the organic push for it. So we knew it would get backed, mainly from just our folks that are already buyers or who have been around with us for a couple of years here. And we figured everything else on top of that is it helps us build it. So it's pretty nice. So we didn't do the whole blitz and go after out to every outlet or anything like that this time around.
Right. Well, I mean, they do kind of sell themselves. I mean, dice it's like game porn,
Yeah, you can never have too many. So
exactly. And speaking of porn, I went through and I listened to the video and everything, and the porn like 70s music going on in the Kickstarter video. I chuckled when I heard that.
Yeah, that was not intentional. And next time I'll probably find some like nice droney techno music to put on that. But this time around, I'm like, whatever, it's out.
Well, you go the Ross Payton route and just throw some vaporwave in there.
Oh man. So yeah, I didn't even notice that until actually someone else brought that up to me not too long ago. Like, hey, where'd you get this music at, man? And I'm like, I know what you're getting at.
All right. So how come metal dice? Like, what is it do you think about metal dice that kind of captures people? Because it would seem to me to be sort of a polarizing sort of thing, as opposed to just your standard like plastic dice.
Yeah, we personally love metal dice. When I game, I like using metal dice. I know a lot of people love using metal dice, so it's just for us. It's been something that we like to do. Plus, we've been, not to pat on our own backs or anything, but I think we produce them pretty well. So as long as we can keep the standards up, I just like to do the metal dice.
Right.
And promote those as much as possible. And we have plenty of plastic. Yeah, there you go.
This will help nobody later on, but for those watching video, metal dice right here. Beautiful. What's the serpent's? Jesus, I forget the name now.
Serpent's blood.
Serpent's blood. Yep. Beautiful dice.
Yeah, thank you. And see, that's the thing too. It's like every time we put out a new set of metal dice, everyone seems to love them and is pulled in by them. How great they look. So that's always been something as well. And we, there's been plenty of plastic, acrylic dice that have been produced over several decades. So the metal thing is, I think, more of a modern thing. So it's been it's just the avenue we like to go. I love metal dice, and we found that there's a lot of other fans of them. So we're going to keep producing those, and we'll probably have some new plastics and such too, coming up in the near future. So get all kinds of new things in the works.
Sure. That's cool. Now, these are a zinc alloy plated to look like rose gold. It's obviously not real rose gold, as noted on the website. Is the process for these dice similar to when you guys did the gunmetal series, as far as like it's construction and all that stuff? Yeah,
it's similar, and there's some of it I can't get into the specifics about how we were able to do the rose gold, but because we get copied enough as it is, and I try to make as little competition as possible. But the idea behind it was to make something that was pretty unique that we haven't seen yet, and we came up with a unique color, and when we were testing it, we're like, wow, that came out really well, and I think we talked about this one other time before, but early test, we did some stuff where we simply painted things, and paint just does not work on metal dice. It just chips off. So we had to do it without painting it. So, again, without getting into the whole process, it was just basically we figured out a way to create it to where it just had that rose gold tint that was just right in between gold and copper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. I play a lot of washers, or at least I have played a lot of washers, and we used to try to paint them as well. And yeah, I mean, they just chip like crazy. And to buy powder coat is just so damn expensive because they eventually chip too. So
Yeah, we tested all that early on, and we're like, yeah, this is not gonna work. So we gave that up a few years ago or whatever. But that's that's pretty much how we decided on it. Though we just came up with the color, it worked, and it went well with unique Pantone colors on the numbers, just like we did with the gunmetal. So once we liked the result, we're like, wow, okay, this will work. So it was just a lot of testing, but getting it right was important for this.
Cool. Shit, I just had a question that went away. Oh, so like there's, with translucent dice, you can see, no inclusions, they should roll fairly well. People do the salt test and that kind of stuff. And, the opaque ones, you have a little bit more of a, did I say opaque twice? Translucent, the first one. The opaque ones can have some more inclusions and things. Mm-hmm. Is that an issue with metal dice at all? I've never thought about it prior to like right in the moment here.
Yeah, I mean, it can be, but we haven't had any issues, and we've done some balance tests and things like that. Now, obviously, they're not going to be perfect precision dice. I think that's a little overrated, though. Honestly, if you want to pay $150 for a set of dice, I get it, but the cost of doing something like that is a lot higher, and it's a lot higher for the consumer is the biggest problem. And we just, obviously that was our concern. We didn't want to make a set of dice at 150, or 175. We felt better at bringing it down and trying to keep it below $50. And but the balance issues, like if there are any, it's almost unnoticeable, and it doesn't. If you're actually rolling the dice, it's not gonna throw it off enough to cause it to weight one way or another.
Sure. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it never occurred to me before, and I'm like, oh shit, I wonder.
But you can do the balance test. I mean, it just takes a lot more salt. I mean, yeah. And so, I don't know if that's worth it for anyone, but we've actually done it, and it's ridiculous. So,
okay, cool. And the rose gold, it's kind of like so it's not as yellow as gold. It doesn't have that real bright luster to it, I guess, but it's more of like a almost like a gray gold. Like it seems like it has like almost like a little bit of gray thrown in it to kind of mute the color a little bit.
Yeah, it's weird with this color because it's a little, like you said, it's a little lighter. But it seems more reflective, if that makes sense. Like looking at it, it just has a really nice shine to it. And when we put it up against, like a gold and a copper, and we obviously like gold and copper too, it just has a really unique like look to it. So just a little more pale. It's just unique. It just has a unique look with the Pantone numbers.
Yeah. Well, speaking of those numbers, the font that you guys use for the numbers almost looks like an old linotype or like an old printing press style. It kind of like that retro feel to it. It looks really cool because you don't see anything like that. It's usually like an Arial style font. It's very thin. It's very, linear.
Yeah, and that actually took some testing to get right. That was another thing in the process that we had to get right, and it was kind of expensive even before launching the Kickstarter to change the font, believe it or not. So it's that's one we're probably going to stick with for quite a few different things to save some money in the future. But no, I mean we liked it, and I kind of I always just kind of think that looks like a kind of a coastal font. I don't know if that even is anything, but to me it reminds me of that for some reason. Okay. So it just has a unique look, and maybe I've seen it on some kind of coastal area or something before, but it just has a unique look to it, and way different than our normal everyday font that we use on our original metal or gunmetal and our dice or our plastic dice acrylic. Sure.
Now you talking about doing testing and going through all these different things. Do you guys process all the dice yourselves? You creating everything from soup to nuts?
We do. There are things that we have to outsource because, for instance, if we want to get a mold made, it's ridiculous to do it in the U.S. So you have to get the mold made offshore. So, and if you try to make a mold here, you're going to spend $25,000 probably. And obviously that's just not, feasible. So, could you imagine a Kickstarter just for dice if you had to raise $25,000 to even get to where you could then produce? It would be way too much. And that's one of the things. We do a few things like that have to be done. Like, again, offsite, offshore, where we have to import, and obviously material is always better to import. And there are things that we do at site, but there's a lot that we have to do basically offshore.
Okay. Yeah, I just wondered.
Yeah, it's a process because you have to mix and match all the things from all over in different locations, and so
yeah, juggling. They got a lot of balls in the air then at that point.
Yeah, otherwise it's just outrageous to even try to do something. I don't think there's anyone that's doing everything 100% organically in the U.S. At least in manufacturing.
Sure. So you'd mentioned cost a little bit earlier there. So it's $45 for a 7-piece set and $55 for the 10-piece set, and the 10-piece comes with a couple of extra D6s.
Yeah, so the 10-piece would just be your basic RPG set where you'd have 4 D6s instead of just the one you'd get in the 7-piece.
Sure.
So you would have the 3 extra with that one.
Nice. Okay.
So and we had a lot, and that was the thing on the first Gunmetal Kickstarter. That was like the biggest request. Hey, can you do it in a 10-piece? It's like, well, we didn't plan for that on this one, so it was important that this time around we planned for it and then allow some of the a la carte stuff too, because it never fails. I mean, and rightfully so. I mean, if you want 10 extra D10, you should be able to get them. So that's what we did this time around. So we allowed the 10-piece set, and we even made a case to encompass the 10-piece set. But then if someone wants to order an extra, 8 D10s, or if they want 100 extra D10s or whatever they want, they can add that to the purchase or the backing as well.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Yeah. I mean, Wizards casting Fireball, you need a whole slew of D6s there.
Oh yeah. Well, and we get a lot of stuff, like people will tell us like a game that I've actually, maybe it's brand new and I haven't even heard of. And they're like, hey, I play this and we need, 20 D10s. I'm like, man, what are you playing that needs 20 D10s? And then that's a lot of D10s.
Yeah,
but
no, that's cool. All right. Well, that's yeah. I mean, to have those options to be able to add all different stuff on, I mean, that's cool because, like you said, it gives people options to, play the games that they want to play and not have to roll the same dice like over and over and over again. Especially when you're, all your other dice are probably plastic and you've got, 1 or 2 nice sets of metal dice.
Yeah,
it's cool to have that extra. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and some people want their whole stock basically in metal, so that's the other thing that we've been finding. They want to replace all their acrylic and plastic dice with metal. I'm like, wow, that's awesome, but that's crazy. If you're playing a lot and you have 100 different metal dice, more power to you. That's but we do have people like that.
Yeah, you don't want to throw all that stuff in the backpack. Kill yourself.
80 pounds of dice slugged over your shoulder.
You thought books were bad.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So the standard set comes with your, like leatherette case that you guys do, but it's shaped in a skull, which looks really cool. But you've also partnered up with Dogmite to do a wooden skull box. How's it been working with the guys over there? I know we had them on the show and a lot of fun to talk to. How are they to work with?
They're really good guys. I mean, we've met them. We met them a while back, and we've tried to collaborate with them on some stuff, and so we've worked out some of the logistics of it, and now it's good. I mean, they're good guys. We've met them several times at Origin and Gen Con, and then we communicate with them through email and everything, and on social media. But yeah, they're really cool guys, really down to earth, and they make fantastic stuff. And that's kind of what drew us together, just to kind of talk about stuff like, hey, you make sweet dice. Yeah, you guys make amazing boxes. And it just kind of, we kind of went from there and partnered up on some of the stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, it looks like similar construction to the dragon sheaths that they did. They got the sunken metal magnets. Everything's super tight. The inserts are nice. Like they hold everything. I mean, they do wonderful work. And and all the emails that I got from you guys and announcing Kickstarter and stretch goals that were unlocked, then I got an email today that said, "Hey, check out this Dogmite thing. It's not ours, but hey, go check it out."
Yeah, and part of me feels kind of bad because I'm like, I know we've sent a bunch of emails this month, and I try not to just kill our friends and fans and such with all kinds of email, but I'm like, guys, I'm really sorry, but this is a really sweet Kickstarter, and we're backing it, and you should back it. It's it's really cool. But yeah, we didn't get no one beat us up over it, so they understood.
And we should mention that add-on for that wooden skull box is $149. I guess they're going to be offering them in their own store post Kickstarter for about $180, I think it said.
Yeah, at least, and it might be a little more. We haven't worked out all the details on that, but yeah. So the Kickstarter is definitely the time to get them. And like you've seen them, they're really cool looking. I mean, those guys did amazing work on that.
Yeah, they look. I mean, they almost look like a shrunken head, like desiccated, weathered kind of, skin stuck to the skull sort of thing. They came out really cool.
Yeah, I was having my morning coffee when they sent me the demo pics of that, and I'm like, holy cow, guys, you guys nailed that! Like, geez. Okay,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll get this on there. So yeah, they're like the guys over there at Dogmite do unreal work.
Mm-hmm. Yep, good guys too. Like I said, we had them on. We had a lot of fun talking to them. So hopefully we'll catch them at a con one of these days. We make it out to Gen Con or Origins or something like that, and you guys too, for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And we're not. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, guys.
No, go ahead. You can finish your thought. I know I'm going to say.
No, I was going to say, and this year we couldn't get into Origin or Gen Con, but hopefully next year, we're on some kind of waiting list now for both. So we're hoping to get into both of those shows. So not just as spectators, but to be able to set up because we went to both last year, and we'll probably go to at least Origin the walk around this year because that was cool. And then Gen Con, I don't know if we're gonna make it out to that or not. But hopefully next year we're setting up at both of those places.
Cool. Well, you could always do GaryCon next year.
Yeah, that'd be cool too.
That'll be their 10th, I believe, their 10th anniversary. That'll be fairly significant, so that might be a good idea. And there would be no waiting list. Main thing.
So, that'd be cool. I mean, we're all about doing cons. We've got a few this year that we'll be at for sure, and then next year we're looking to ramp that up even more.
Cool. You guys got a pretty quick turnaround, don't you? Your expected delivery is July.
Yeah, that's really what we're pushing for. We did some things this time around to make it a lot more streamlined. Just from last time, we learned the hard way that some of the things, if we don't set up to begin with, it takes like an extra month. And then we had some product that we had to have shipped in that got hit with typhoon. So I'm like, of all freaking things to happen, we're like, we already felt behind the gun a little bit. And then I'm like, hey guys, by the way, we're going to be another month late because, well, some of our product got trapped in the typhoon and is back on shore. Luckily, nothing got destroyed, but they're not shipping us anything right now. So we had like 80% of everything, and then we're just waiting on the last little bit. So
that's good. Yeah, that's got a cool story though.
That was stressful.
Yeah, anything coming from overseas, you're at the whim of other governments and companies and weather and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so this time around, we actually beforehand we asked people in comments to kind of let us know where they were leaning, like what color they're looking at mainly, and they can change it all, but it gives us at least an idea of what the most popular item is. And then once we launch the survey, then we already have pretty much. We can keep what we want. We can basically start working on some of the things now because we know we'll need, X amount of each. So it's helped a lot this time around.
Gotcha.
Cool. Let me jump back. I was doing something else. There's also some other cool add-ons that you guys have, as well as the dice bags, reversible dice bags, the rolling mats. You have other. I was going to look. As far as I recall from yesterday, the white and red skull boxes haven't been unlocked yet.
Yeah, that has not been unlocked yet. And I don't know if we'll get all the way out there. I need to actually look at what we're at, but I know we've unlocked. We just unlocked our silver numbers the other day, so that's cool. And yeah, let's see here, because I can't remember what we haven't unlocked yet.
There was only a couple of things. I think you're sitting right in front of green, and then there was the 2 dice boxes, and then I think powdered blue maybe was one of the other ones.
Oh yeah. So we have the green, which I think we'll unlock that, and we'll probably hit the red skull box too. I think we'll be okay there. We might miss it, but and we get the powdered blue numbers and the white skull box, and then the battle scene, the battle mat is really cool. So that's that one we worked with an artist that we've worked with on. Actually, he does a lot of our artwork, and that one was really cool. So hopefully that gets unlocked, but if not, we'll see about bringing that out at some point, because it's actually really cool artwork when you see it up close.
Mm-hmm. Is that the same for the skull box as well? Because the black looks cool, the white looks pretty cool, and the red is really cool.
Yeah, I like the red's my favorite, and we actually tried to do something really unique with that. We were going to on the mat we have a red foil mat, so that's like an actual foil imprint that's on there. We were actually trying to do that on the box too, but it wasn't coming out right. So that's going to be something we maybe look at in the future. We couldn't get the testing to go the way we wanted it to, so we just figured let's not try to make it and then screw it up if we can't get it right this time.
Sure.
So that's something too, because we really like the foil imprint. So
okay, that's cool.
That's something we're going to try to do later on in the future for the skull, if we can figure out a way to make it happen and make it look proper and all that.
Nice. The reversible dice bags are really cool too. It's such a stark contrast from black to white. With this black skull on the white and the white skull on the black. It really, as I was scrolling through the page, it just really grabbed my eye, and I'm like, wait a minute, what is that? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's we had that design, and we actually had that design. We were thinking about bringing that in the last Kickstarter, but we're like, we got the skull idea for the next one. So, we ended up, we're like, we'll just put it together. We'll use the same type of graphic and we'll go that route. So
cool.
Yeah. And they're nice. They hold like 250 dice or something like that too. So they're pretty massive.
Oh, it's enormous. You can almost stick somebody's head in there. I got the reversible with the wyvern on it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's enormous. Well, that's good. And will these items all be available in the store at some point down the road?
Yeah, we will. We're gonna take these, and they'll be available when we're out on the road, and when we're on our online store, we'll try to always have these available as well.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's neat. It's cool to be able to do the rose gold and have that sitting next to the gunmetal, and then to have the new boxes and the mats and the those rolling mats. What's cool about those, I don't know, have you guys ever used like any kind of like metal dice rolling mat, like the at all?
I've used like the foam core, like the foam rubber mats, and the plastic polyhedrals bounce like a son of a bitch. Which is why I got my Easy Roller dice tray, because it works so much better. So I a little bit of experience, but I haven't used metal on them because when I was out, I just had plastic.
Okay. Well, we've seen a few of the different the kind of dice rolling mats and things like that out, and a lot of them are like a neoprene, and most of them are like 25 by 25. I'm like, damn, like what do you guys play on? Because I've never played on a table where I had that much room, with
right.
You're sitting around with the guys, you're like, that guy's pissing everyone off by taking up, like, dude, you have to take up. Yeah. So what we designed was we wanted to keep it like a notebook size, like an 8.5 by 11 inch, and it makes it easy to store because you can throw it right in one of your manuals, and any of your books. If you're playing D&D, they fit right in, fit really nice because those are a little oversized. And then the other nice thing about it is they hold up well to the metal dice, and they obviously prevent damage on your table. And they're like real thin too, so they're easy to store. Because I know a lot of those other things too, you can't really roll them up, and then you can't really store them very well. You got this giant, half a table, mat you got to put away somewhere. Well, these, we just wanted to keep it simple, but keep it to where it was functional as well. And that's I feel like we did that, and I feel like people when they get them are gonna really enjoy rolling on them.
Well, when I saw them at first, I was surprised that they were, about the size of a piece of paper. And I'm like, that can't be right. Because I've only ever seen like the really big ones too. And I'm like, well, I guess that kind of makes sense, right? Because I mean, you could literally, if you have your book on the table, your notebook, you just throw it right on top of there, pick your book up, move your mat over it, you get, back to your papers and stuff. So that's a really neat idea to have something as small and compact as that it gives you that much more flexibility.
Yeah, and I tried to shoot a video on that to show people the sound reduction. I just couldn't get that to come out the way we wanted it to. But it is amazing. Like if you roll your dice on like a hardwood table or a floor, they're pretty loud. And when you throw it on the mat, it's just a very dull, very it's very reduced. So we were really happy with them. So we think people are going to be pretty thrilled when they get them. And again, they're not going to be taking up 90% of the table when their buddies are trying to play. So
they're knocking beers over. Yeah, it's a pain. All right. So I'm going to switch gears here a little bit. Are you a coffee drinker, Michael?
I love coffee.
Yeah. All right. Have you ever heard?
I drink it.
Have you ever heard of Birds of a Feather Coffee Company?
No, I haven't.
Oh, let me tell you a little bit. Birds of a Feather. Birds of a Feather is a sponsor of the Legends of Tabletop podcast. The beans are roasted by Legends' own Neil. He also runs the Two Black Eyes podcast, but he roasts coffee down there in Land O'Lakes, Florida, I think it is. Great coffee, nice blends. It's roasted to order. I put in an order over the weekend. I know he was roasting today, and it'll probably be in the mail tomorrow.
Nice.
So it's a good deal. It's not too expensive. Birds may have something legendary available soon.
Hint, hint.
Yeah. But I'll read you the ad copy here. Birds of a Feather Coffee Company roasts unique craft coffees in small batches, so it's always fresh. Their signature blends showcase the amazing breadth and depth of flavors coffee has to offer. The Night Owl blend, which happens to be my favorite currently, is a deep, rich cup of coffee with notes of smooth caramel, decadent cocoa, and bittersweet molasses, and just a touch of acidity to clean your palate so you're ready for the next sip.
Clean your palate.
Check out all the Birds coffees and order now at www.birdscoffeecompany.com.
Now, you just mentioned there's a dark roast. What else does he offer? There
is a Morning Lark blend, which is a lighter roast. And then they also have the Hummingbird Decaf, which if you're drinking coffee, I really don't understand why you're drinking decaf, but I guess that's the thing. So if you like decaf,
well, some people on special diets have to curtail their caffeine intake, but still like the taste of coffee.
Or if you want a cup of coffee at 8 o'clock at night, I guess you don't want to get all jazzed up. You can have a cup of decaf coffee.
Exactly.
Or you prefer a darker roast, Mike, or are you kind of middle of the road sort of guy?
Yeah, I like both, but dark roast is probably the way I typically go on that. So I'm gonna try this. Like after the pod tonight, I'm going over there.
You totally should.
And I'm not just saying that. I really am. I love coffee, so.
It's good. It supports, our sponsors, personal friend of the show, all that kind of stuff. So it's it's good. That is literally the only coffee that I drink anymore, unless I'm out and about, if I'm in a restaurant or, at work or something like that. But at home, that is literally the only coffee that I drink. So, thumbs up, Birds of a Feather Coffee Company.
Why now? Do it. You want to. Rah.
All right, let's get back to the show now. So we were supposed to have you on, about 2 months ago, I guess, maybe, for Kickstarter that didn't go quite as well for an adult coloring book. What happened with the Kickstarter? What do you think was sort of the sticky wicket there?
Well, the hard part on that is number one, I think the idea is really cool. And we had a lot of people that were like, wow, this is freaking awesome. Like, I bought your dice, but I really love this. And, the hardest part with that particular product is our entry to produce was pretty high. And the amount that we're charging for the actual book is low. So it takes a lot of orders to, hit $7,000. I think that was what we needed to make that launch, and not totally lose our can on that. So that was the hardest part. I mean, it was, $15 for the coloring book, and we were trying to hit a $7,000 goal. So I think we hit 3,500. So we got halfway there. We're probably going to try to relaunch that in the future because we have some better ideas to make that happen. Plus, it's a product that is dear to my heart because I probably spent more time putting that bad boy together than some of the some of the dice that we've worked on in the past. And it's just that it's a time-consuming product. So I think the market's there. It's just we have to make a lower entry and also maybe find a way to add some items to help fund the main product a little more. So that's just my take on it.
Sure. Well, I figured, between the printing and the shipping, I mean, especially for a Kickstarter, those are the two worst things. And then you were hitting both in the same Kickstarter, like almost exclusively.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. And that, again, that product, you're right. The printing, because we can't do the printing. We had to send off for that. It looks like it's not too bad until you start dealing with it. And then it's like, wow, okay, there's a lot of cost in printing, and the artwork was very expensive. To work all that out and make great images like that. So, because I'm not an artist, so I worked with an artist who designed the concepts, and he just kind of took the ideas that were in my head and on paper, which are terrible, but he took them and made them look beautiful. So,
Right. And he created 50 different pieces of art for the project. So, I mean, it's no small amount. You don't have to answer this one. I wonder for myself, just, from like a business perspective, you guys have to pay for all that art up on the front end. So you're kind of on the hook for that, even though the Kickstarter didn't fund, like, you guys still have to pay the artist.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And we paid him out, outright up front. But yeah, that's, some of the things, because I've seen some, banter out there about certain Kickstarter, or, just people will go, man, these guys made X amount of dollars on a Kickstarter, but there's a lot of cost involved. So it's not usually like, I don't think a lot of people doing a Kickstarter are walking away and putting a bunch of money in their pocket. Like, and that's not how we do it. We rather produce from the Kickstarter. So yeah, up front, even when we do dice, there's design cost up front that we don't even include in the Kickstarter a lot of times. And same with the art. I worked with the artist. I've known him for, like eight, maybe 9 years now. So, I worked with him and we paid him, and yeah, it's just one of those things that it didn't work out for now, but I know we have a good product that we're going to eventually get that out and make it happen no matter what.
Mm. Yeah, and who knew? But I mean, adult coloring is apparently like a huge thing. I mean, Amazon's got a huge section, and if working through Michael's because I'm in there with with my kid, or if I'm building some kind of craft thing for the D&D game or something, just like huge sections of Mandelas and like all these different things. So I was surprised when it didn't fund, just because I know that that's such a sort of relaxing thing for people to do, sort of de-stress and color.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like adult coloring book groups and stuff out there. It sounds really weird, but there are like large groups of people that are in like chats together about coloring books, and I didn't find those until near the end of dealing with the whole Kickstarter. And so I got with some of them and said, hey, can I put my book on here? Can we advertise this? Can, whatever we need to do. And they didn't get back to me until like 2 days before the end of the Kickstarter. And I'm like, well, maybe if we relaunch it. And they're like, oh yeah, I wish you would have got with me earlier. I'm like, well, I contacted you, 30 days ago, but I didn't really get an answer back. So maybe there's going to be some more of that next time, and maybe a little harder push. I might, get out and do more, like I definitely podcast like this. And, that's the one thing, I think we were cutting it close anyway on our, it would have been cutting it close last time on this podcast anyway. I think there was like 2 days left, but yeah, I wasn't able to make the podcast. I was a jerk last time. So.
No, not at all. Family comes first. There's nothing you can do about that. All right. So you mentioned a little bit earlier that you hadn't gotten to play a whole lot. What have you been playing since the last time we talked to you, if anything, really?
Yeah, I mean, we've just some kind of made up D&D actually second edition campaigns, because we've been doing a lot of that, but actually going to try to get into some fifth edition coming up. But yeah, a lot of doing a lot of 2E, or not a lot, but like I said, I mean, 7 or 8 sessions since the last time, but that's pretty much it. And just a couple hours each time. And I'm one of those guys, I like to, if you can take a Sunday afternoon and kill like 8 hours of gaming, I could probably pull that off, if there's time. So, and that's been the hardest part over the last year, just the time constraints with everything. But yeah, that's basically where we've been at, is doing some second edition stuff.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember if I asked you this last time, because I didn't listen to the previous podcast because lazy. Does your wife play at all, or do you just kind of play with the guys at the shop and friends that you've had around? Is she interested at all, or no?
No, not at all. Yeah, she thinks it's cool though, like doesn't mind or whatever. But yeah, no, I can't get her in on a session of it. I've tried.
Did you start with second? Is that the attraction to going back and getting into second again, or?
Yeah, I think the original, let's see, we started like back in the 90s, and we're doing some of the second edition. And then we did, jumped all the way back into some first and messed around with there, and then back to second. And then, I think I missed the whole era in between all the way up until fifth. So, outside of, I just kind of wasn't really in the industry doing much with it at that point. And then like 3 years ago, when we started getting really back into it and developing everything we were doing with Easy Roller Dice, then it was more like, getting really deep back into the second edition again, and never really jumping into that next, into the fifth edition, which is where, I know a lot of guys that we've talked to since then are like, oh man, you got to play some 5. So we're looking at doing that, but.
Okay. Have you picked up any of the books yet? Do you have any thoughts on anything that you've looked at so far with fifth, or you haven't really had a chance to get into it?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, we have all the books. I mean, everything. And I mean, I've got actually sitting right by me, I've got the player's handbook, I've got the monsters manual, and we've got at the shop, we've got a bunch of other stuff that we're just ready to go, but just haven't done it yet. So we're going to have to break that out one day. Kill work, stop working, get back to playing for a little bit. It's research. Come on.
Yeah, there you go. Well, and it's tough too. I mean, when you're doing a Kickstarter, it's just like a whole second life is that's consumes you for months at a, not only the month that you're running it, but the lead up in, and then the lead going out to make sure that you're delivering, and following up with everything, so that it takes a big chunk of time. So I can imagine that trying to get anything to the table is tough.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have like huge plans for doing several Kickstarters this year. So it's kind of, I'm looking at my schedule going, okay, we're at a convention here, we're doing this here. Yeah, gaming is going to happen overnight sometime, I think, when you try to pull one of those all-nighters with some coffee and then pay for it the next, week. But
some Birds coffee?
Yeah.
There you go.
Do you like substitute with any, do you do any board gaming or anything?
Like classic stuff. Like I love, it's weird, but I love like old board games like Monopoly. It's probably one of my favorite games. That game is still amazing to this day.
It holds up.
Yeah, it does really well. And then, I'll play, like my son likes to play, like Uno and stuff like that too. So we do some of that. But no, haven't been doing a lot of the other board games and such either. And there's a lot of like cool, like, fantasy style board games out that I see. And I'm like, man, I really want to, that looks like it would be fun. We just haven't jumped into it.
Mm-hmm. I'll stay off a Kickstarter. Jesus, I backed another game. There's another one that's coming up. I know I'm getting in on. Every time I turn around, I'm getting a notification. I'm getting a package in the mail. I'm like, Jesus, where the hell is all this money coming from?
Yeah, I can't tell everyone. I can't condone staying off a Kickstarter, but no, we backed several projects on there as well. Just really cool stuff, and I mean, I think the Kickstarter stuff is. Some people come up with some really amazing games. Like the thought that goes into it and the time is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. People are creative. I mean, I guess every once in a while you get a clunker on there, maybe something that's not as well developed or thought out or whatever. But I mean, everything that I've backed has been fantastic. I mean, there has yet to be a clunker in the bunch.
Oh man, that's good. That's a good streak.
Yeah, and I should knock on something. Everything's been delivered. No trouble. I guess you hear horror stories every once in a while, but yeah, no, all good stuff.
Oh, that's good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always worry about that. Like you back something like, come on, this has to get through. But yeah, I haven't had any issues either with anyone on Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm dealing with awesome companies like Easy Roller Dice Company and Dogmite Games. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody.
Exactly.
I noticed on the store as I was perusing through your stock that you've recently added a D20 cell phone wallet type contraption there.
Yes.
That's new. Do you have anything else that's new that's coming to the store?
Yeah, we have. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about everything yet, just because I think some of the stuff we have coming up, maybe we'll do that off air and make all your listeners send me mean messages.
No, it's okay.
No, we have several things that we're going to be producing this year that will not be Kickstarter things, that we're actually doing some of our own pre-order stuff on. Like we did like a year ago, we did a little bit of pre-order stuff on one of our original gunmetal dice, and before we ever jumped into a Kickstarter. So I think we're gonna go that route on a couple things, because a couple things do have some deep expense to them, but we know there's going to be a lot of fans for. So we're going to do some of that. We have some new dice bags coming. Actually, several new dice bags coming. We've got some stuff that I think is going to surprise everyone coming. So, again, I can't really get into that. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much, like if we could do everything all at once, we definitely would. It's just one of those things that I think we're going to have some really good surprising things coming up this year, and maybe some gift sets, which we haven't had in the past. So we've got some really neat things in development.
Nice. Any other Kickstarters planned for this year or no?
Yeah, we have a few. We actually think we scheduled 5. I
Holy
don't
cow.
think we're going to get to 5. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get to 5 because actually this Kickstarter we actually planned for November, and we just were not. November and December became so busy that we're like, yeah, I'm not even going to chance this right now. So we talked about it, and I'm like, man, I can't handle 24 hours a day right now. So let's not do the Kickstarter. Let's save that until the beginning of the year. And that worked out well. So otherwise, November and December would have been awful to deal with in a good way, but it would have been very busy.
Sure. What's the? I'm sure you've done all the research and listened to the other podcasts and stuff. What's the conventional wisdom? Is starting a Kickstarter that late in the year around the holidays and everything good idea? Bad idea?
I honestly don't know. Just gut feeling from everything that's going on. It's probably not a good idea. And the only reason I say that is because it's not. There's no instant gratification with it. Where at least if someone orders a product on our website, they get it in a couple of days, everyone's happy. Whereas the Kickstarter, they got to wait 4 or 5 months, for a short Kickstarter and sometimes even longer.
Right.
And I think that kind of plays a role. So we ultimately also thought that going into it in the holiday when everyone was already purchasing a lot of merchandise out there, that it might not be the best time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't, looked at any stats on that, but I'm guessing that's probably true.
Yeah, I had heard that there was statistics and if you start on a Monday and you do it in April is the best time to run, and all these crazy nuances and stuff to try to maximize success of your Kickstarter. I don't know how much people follow that anymore now that Kickstarter's much more well established, I guess. But even thinking about doing 5 in 1 year, that's insane.
Yeah, and like I said, I doubt we'll even we'll hit that. But we've got a few good ones that we have planned, and I think we might I might even do like a survey for maybe one of our upcoming ones, and see what everyone wants. What would you guys rather have? And let the people out there decide, because that's usually where our best stuff comes from. Is we have a good idea of what we like personally, but usually someone will come to us and say, what would be really awesome if you guys could do this and this, and it's like, well, hey, we're gonna do this. We can make that happen and make that even better. So
cool.
So I think we might go that route. Upcoming is just, hey, what do you guys want to see? Tell us, and maybe we can make it happen.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Yeah, fans know what they want, right? So, you give them a little bit of a say, they get a little bit of ownership, they get a little bit more involved. So that's definitely a good way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just like giving them what they want. If you guys want this is what we're going to try to do for you. So,
yeah, especially for something like a Kickstarter, because they're already immediately invested. If you're like, oh, we have this, we're going to do project X, people are like, oh, that's cool and all, but I really want this other thing, you're kind of hedging your bets in that regard. Yeah.
And I pay attention to what people are looking for in general. That's just something I've always paid attention to. I used to do, I was in retail for 10 years before doing my own stuff. So, so I usually get a pretty good feel of where everyone's at, but then it is reassuring when you have people go, hey, I really like this. And if it matches something you already had in your head, that's great. But then sometimes you're totally wrong. And it's like, wow, I better not, we better, hey guys, what do you think if we put that on hold, maybe put that on the back burner and go with this, because this seems to be what our audience wants right now. So, and we've had that happen several times.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it doesn't look like there's any gaming in your future coming up.
We're gonna make it happen anyway, because we've already talked about we've got to just force it in there. Get a weekend, and that's what's gonna happen. So
I'm telling you, we got to get you in. We'll get some kind of one shot going. We'll get you in on a night. One night we'll just do a couple of. Won't be 8 hours. We'll just do a couple hours.
Yeah. Me trying to get 8 hours of time right now would be it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, And I think we're close to kind of wrapping this thing up here. If you want to give out all the contact information, of course, we have a bunch of stuff already there in the show notes, but that way people will hear it.
Yeah, so again, I'm Michael with Easy Roller Dice. You can find us at easyrollerdice.com. And you guys ever have any questions when you come to the site, there's contact forms and everything on there. So we're pretty quick on responding. If you go to any of our social media, which is just usually at Easy Roller Dice, we're on Twitter, we're active on Facebook and Instagram, and they're all at Easy Roller Dice, or Facebook is /Easy Roller Dice, and Instagram /Easy Roller Dice. So we're on there. We're easily accessible. So if you guys have any questions, you want to contact us, we're usually pretty quick. Usually within a couple hours, we got an answer for you. So
cool. And I think I saw on the site when I was on there yesterday, right now you're doing 5% off of first-time orders.
Yeah, there's newcomers to our store always get 5% off. So we happily bring everyone in and give everyone a discount. So that's one thing we try to always do, is make people happy when they come on board with us.
Mm-hmm. You're like a bunch of dealers. God, we'll give you this one really cheap. You get in and check it out, see what you think.
And then we've got you. No,
yeah.
I guess
that's we do
it. Yeah, we do the 5% off, and then we try to run, at least a few sales throughout the year. Some good stuff. You need dice. That's the time. We usually will have a couple really good sales, and we don't do a ton of sales though, because our stuff we already have good prices and good products. So we try not to overdo the hey, get your discount, because it's I think we're already very fair on our pricing. So
yeah. You guys are good. I mean, I've ordered a bunch of stuff, so and I'm cheap, so I'm coming to you guys. Can't be too bad.
Yeah, man. If we land the cheap guy, we're doing it right.
Actually, I'm going to be making an order, if not tonight, or tomorrow for one of our players. He doesn't have dice, so I am going to order him some dice.
Time for the big 150 or the 105, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, so we've got our final 5 questions here. I've got a new set for you since we ran you through these ones before. So I'll go ahead and fire away at you. Book or Kindle?
Okay. Book.
Yeah.
Every time. I like the Kindle. I don't mind it. I like to have a physical copy.
Mm-hmm. I'm the same way.
Yep.
It's certainly convenient to be able to throw like 1,000 books on a little digital device, but it just is not the same.
That's great for traveling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're, but usually what I do, I don't travel enough to where I'm like, man, I need to have all 1,500 books that I own at my disposal right now. I usually have one that I'm reading at the time, but yeah, I know a lot of people do the whole, like, they just have the Kindle with them wherever they go. My wife is one of them. She doesn't have any physical books. I have 2. Next time I'm going to get my camera going, but I have 2 bookshelves filled with books. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Vince. Vince could do that because he's usually reading 7 books at the same time.
I'm up to probably about 15 that I'm going through and studying, complete with highlighter and note cards. So yeah.
Oh man,
I love it.
Yep, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. Books have been a part of my life forever. So.
Yeah, well, I think, I don't know how much time you guys got, but reading for me, I wish more people read constantly. It would really help.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's an understatement.
Yeah, it definitely helps. It helps keep you sharp. So I try to read something every day, some kind of book. At least a couple, even if I'm anything. Yeah, read something,
Mm-hmm. I last year I think it was last year I had started to read all the classics because I'm a reader. I read all the time. I always don't leave the house without a book because you never know, be stuck somewhere for 5 minutes. I can knock out like 2 pages. So as things with the podcast got busier and busier, my reading got less and less. I was going to the library like every 2 weeks. I'd order a book. I'd go in. I'd pick it up. Jane Austen, all these crazy weird different things. And I finally was like, you know what? I can't do it Because if I'm reading something, it's an RPG manual, or I'm doing research for a podcast or whatever. I just don't have the time to read that I used to, and it bugs me because I would like to get back to that. I had a list of like 150 books. I'm like, I'm gonna go through all these classics, and some of which I read, but I'm like, just not gonna happen.
Yeah, I see some of the people put out the read a book a day or a book a week or something. I'm like, that's kind of pushing it, I think, sometimes. But there's nothing wrong with that, and I think it's great. I mean, the more reading you can get in, I just think it makes you sharper. I think I personally retain knowledge better if I'm reading it rather than watching. Even if I'm reading some history, you can flick on the History Channel, or you could read a book and go, wow, okay, and I just retain it better. So I don't know if everyone's like that, but that's just how I learn.
Yeah, well, there's certainly different avenues for learning like that. Some people are more visual, some people are oral. Some people retain that better, reading, or some combination of everything. Like in college taking notes, you're supposed to take the notes, listen to the teacher, recite your notes to reinforce all that information. So I guess it's something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Board games or RPGs?
You mean like tabletop RPG or video game RPG?
Yeah, so like either Monopoly or Dungeons and Dragons, like that sort of.
D&D, if I had to. Yeah, I mean, I like Monopoly too, but like I said, but in the grand scheme of things, definitely tabletop gaming is my preferred, way to have fun, to entertain. But that's a tough one, man. You got to ask me a tough question like that. But I do love, like I said, Monopoly is one of the ones that would be up there. But no, definitely tabletop for me is the number one.
Cool. Yeah, and we've talked about it before. I feel like it's that that social aspect. Like even board games are social, but I find that when we're playing board games, the room is silent because everybody's strategizing and plotting their next move, and they're like, "Oh, if he takes that one, I'm going to take this one," and like there's that sort of like inner monologue that's going on. So it's like you're hanging out, but you're kind of not,
Yeah, no, I agree. And that social interaction is cool. I mean, it's fun, and what else can you argue about and then still have fun while you're doing it, right? So,
yeah, for sure. All right, so to piggyback on that RPG, then hack and slash or role play?
I like a little combo of both. The role play to an extent. I'm not super into the super long-winded role playing, like where you act everything out to a T. But you gotta have. I think you gotta have a little bit of that. I like a little mix.
Okay, that helps to develop your character, kind of set you in the world and all that.
Yeah, and it's boring if it's just you. If you're not playing your character and just kind of like you're just being you. I mean, you can do that anytime, right? You can be. And I feel like I'm a boring person in life, and so when you're gaming, you can at least maybe get a little more of the eccentric tone to everything. So yeah, I think you got to have a little bit of the hack and slash is always fun too, but then that gets a little too. If it's just constant, that's a little too much too. So I think you got to have a little balance there.
All right, cool. This one may or may not be a hit. Doctor Who or Firefly?
I'm actually you guys. I'll probably get stoned by the audience, but I am not really into either one.
Okay, it was a risk. Like it's a nerdy kind of thing, so I've take a stab in the dark.
Yeah, it's funny because my family is really into Doctor Who, like brothers and everyone. They love it. And I'm not like opposed to it by any means, but I've never really gotten into either side of that. So I'm like, eh. So yeah. Like I said, I might get beat up by the audience a little on that one, but just neither one are like my thing.
Yeah, well, they can line me up with the fence right next to you because I've never watched either one either. So
we're in trouble, man.
Yeah, well, I have other nerd things. That's just not one of them.
I got you.
All right, and the last one is, if you could be any supernatural creature, what would you be?
Jeez. Man, I don't know. That's tough. Maybe some kind of like Gorgon or something. You know, it'd be cool. You'd be hated by everyone. You have to turn on the stone, and everyone's trying to kill you. Make life interesting, at least.
All right. Okay. I was expecting maybe like, you know, the Edward Vampire or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, you got me off guard on that one.
that caught me off guard. I work here.
You're right.
we got a shout out from Tom Rogers.
Yeah, well, you know, it's one of those things like, you know, it's werewolf beat the vampire sort of thing. Like, yeah, it plays into that whole kind of nerd thing, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I got to turn the tables a little bit. Could you guys answer that question?
I can't answer any of these questions.
It's good to be the host.
My father used to watch Doctor Who when I was a kid. You know, the Tom Baker Doctor. It was all right. The Daleks always scared the shit out of me, so I don't know. And Firefly, never really got into, although I hear good things about it.
I'd never watch either one of those. As far as supernatural creature, I don't know. If you're gonna go traditional, probably either vampire or werewolf. You know, vampire, you live forever, which is not necessarily the worst thing, but existentially is probably the worst thing.
Well, they have to go through any more presidential campaign.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, and we got a shout out from Tom Rogers. He's watching.
Hey, Tom.
What's up,
Tom? Yeah, no, I don't. I've never attempted to. I mean, some like superficially, like book or Kindle, like, you know, book, super, whatever. But yeah, some of the other ones, I don't know, not so much.
Yeah, it's not too bad. The superhero thing or the supernatural creature, that's a tough one, man. I'd have to put in some thought for a few weeks on that one and probably get back to you to make that official. But that would take up time as well. So
I think the coolest one we probably had somebody throw out like at an instant was Rock Sasha, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, there are so many.
Like, I think if you got to be something.
But also you always got to think of the negative with everything. So I think it's like making a wish when you have to make your wish, right? And you got to get that right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's some catches to some of the supernatural creatures.
Yeah, there's for sure always a downside.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure to have you on again. I know, you know, your dice sold themselves, so this is, you know, somewhat superfluous, but we're glad to have you on and get a chance to chat for a little while and just hang out for a little bit.
Yeah, man, I'm always happy to come on. So it's a great time. You know, you always sit here with a beer, and I have a mixed drink this time. But you know, last time I think I had a beer or two. But yeah, it's good, man. So I'm happy to come back anytime.
And awesome. Your newly purchased coffee.
Yeah, and yes, I'm getting coffee.
Usually I have coffee when we're doing this, but I don't tonight. I had it earlier because I would have never made it this far.
Yeah, I think I had some at like 5, man. I don't know if I can do it. It's 9 here. I don't know if I could be. I don't think I could be in the coffee right now.
You know, I'll drink it as late as like 7 or 8, and it's enough to just kind of get me going. But it's not enough to keep me up. But as soon as I hit the pillow, I'm out. It just doesn't matter.
Oh, that's a good skill.
Well, it's because I'm exhausted. So I don't know. It's not that great. All right. Well, you know, again, thanks for coming on, everybody. Go check out the Kickstarter. Links are in the show note, and of course, we've tweeted and you know, pushed the link out there as well. So we appreciate everybody that's you know, clicking through and going to check it out and supporting Easy Roller Dice Company. It's a great bunch of guys. Michael, it's a pleasure to have Michael on again, and you know, good company to support, small company. You know, local here to States, and you know, they appreciate your business, and we're happy to kind of help move things down the line a little bit. So thank you for everybody for checking all that stuff out. And I'll give out all of our details here. You can find this awesome content and all of our other great stuff at legendsoftabletop.com. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you can reach out to us at legendsoftabletop@gmail.com. Last time I hesitated, which I don't understand because I know what our email address is, but it's one of those things. We're on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and the YouTube page. Obviously, if you're watching this, you know that. So we appreciate you checking out all those things, hitting all the like buttons. We'd appreciate it if you could leave some feedback on iTunes. That helps us out tremendously. Or other forums that you might happen to be on. You get in a conversation about other podcasts, feel free to plug away. That's awesome. We appreciate that. Our Zazzle store is up. Yeah. Not fully completed, but there are things on Zazzle. So if you're at the website, you could check that out. Our
Very soon you'll be able to buy the amazing Legends of Tabletop Fong.
That is definitely a thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Check out
Make
the calendar.
Great Valentine's gift.
Yep. Check out the calendar on the website. We've got all kinds of other cool podcasts and things coming up. Leah's got a couple of things scheduled in there as well, and we're posting up our gaming schedule on there now as well, so you can look ahead for that. I guess that's it. Thanks everybody for checking this out, and we'll catch you next time.
Don't take any wooden nickels.